For decades, we've all heard the same thing, right? A daily walk is the absolute best thing you can do for your health as you get older. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the advice we've all been following is actually holding us back from being our strongest, most stable selves?
Seriously, think about it. Is that simple daily routine really giving you the best bang for your buck when it comes to strength, to balance, to living a long and active life? This isn't just a random thought. It's actually the conclusion of some brand new, game-changing research.
So get this, researchers at the University of Copenhagen took a look at 8,000 adults over the age of 60, and what they discovered is pretty much flipping our whole understanding of senior fitness on its head. They compared folks doing traditional walking routines to a group doing 5 very specific, targeted exercises, and the results, well, they were just staggering.
Check this out. The group that did the 5 targeted exercises, they increased their overall strength by a whopping 89%. We're talking about nearly doubling their physical capability compared to the people who are just walking. Incredible, right?
And it gets even better. That very same group saw their risk of falling, one of the biggest health threats for older adults, plummet by 73%. Now that isn't just a small improvement. That is a life-changing, life-saving difference. And here's the real kicker. They got these amazing results while spending 40% less time exercising than the walking group. I mean, come on! More strength, better stability, and you get it all in significantly less time.
So yeah, it is definitely time to rethink our approach to fitness. We're going to count down the exact 5 exercises from that Copenhagen study that delivered these unbelievable results. And we're starting with number 5.
Okay, let's dive right in with this first block of exercises. These 3 movements, they're all about building that solid foundation of strength and balance that, you actually use every single day.
Coming in at number 5 is the wall push-up with a hold. Now, I know it might look simple, but the science shows it's unbelievably effective for building that essential upper body and core strength we need. Now, the secret sauce here is the tempo. You're going to lean in slowly for about 2 seconds, then you hold it for 3 to 5 seconds. Really feel everything from your chest to your core light up, and then push back slowly for another 2 seconds. It's this slow, controlled movement that builds real, functional strength, way more than just banging out fast reps. And here's why it's so powerful. First, it directly fights that age-related muscle loss and builds strength for things like carrying groceries. But the real game changer is this thing called proprioception. You can think of it as your brain's internal GPS. It's your sense of where your body is in space. Improving that is absolutely massive for preventing falls.
Okay, on to number 4, and we're going to build on that foundation. We've got seated leg lifts. And hey, don't let the word seated fool you. This one is an absolute powerhouse for your lower body.
The trick is to keep your back pressed firmly against the chair. That makes sure you're using the right muscles. Lift that leg slowly, hold it for a solid 2 seconds at the top, and then lower it without letting your foot touch the floor. That keeps the muscle working the entire time.
And the results really do speak for themselves. Participants saw a 28% boost in their walking speed. Now that might not sound huge, but get this. Doctors actually call walking speed the 6th vital sign because it's one of the strongest predictors of your overall health and how long you'll live. It's a really big deal.
All right, number 3 on our list targets a muscle group that most of us totally ignore, but it is absolutely critical for healthy aging. I'm talking about your calves.
So the magic here happens in 2 parts. First, that 3-second balance hold at the very top. And second, the slow, controlled 3-second lowering phase. That lowering part, that's what's known as the eccentric movement, and it's where a ton of the strength building actually happens.
Now, this is fascinating. Your calf muscles act like our peripheral heart. They help pump blood from your legs back up to your actual heart, which massively improves circulation. And this is so effective that it's been linked to a 26% improvement in cognitive scores simply because you're getting more blood and oxygen to your brain.
All right, we have arrived at the top of our list. These next 2 exercises, well, they're the heavy hitters. They're the ones that are most impactful for targeting the core movements that really define our power, our stability, and ultimately our independence as we get older.
Coming in at number 2, we have the modified squat to a chair. And I know what you might be thinking, squats are bad for my knees. Well, listen up, because when you do this one correctly, it can actually reduce knee pain.
The most important part is that very first movement. I want you to hinge at your hips first. Think about closing a car door with your backside. This takes the pressure off your knees and puts the work onto your glutes where it belongs. Then it's just a light tap on the chair,
Don't sit all the way down, and drive right back up through your heels. And here's the stat that just blows that old myth out of the water. A massive scientific review found that performing this type of squat correctly can slash existing knee pain by 58%. Why? Because it strengthens all the supporting muscles around the joint, making it more stable and a whole lot less painful.
And that brings us to number 1, the single most important movement, the one that was shown to increase key markers of a longer lifespan by an incredible 42%. It hits balance, strength, and even brain function, all at the same time.
And here it is, the bird dog hold. I know, it might look a little bit unusual, but the science behind why this specific movement is so uniquely powerful for healthy aging is it's absolutely amazing.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. A 2024 study in the prestigious Journal of Gerontology literally called it the single most effective exercise for healthy aging. So let's break down why.
It all comes down to a process with a very fancy name, mechotransduction, but the idea is simple. Holding this unique position puts a gentle but specific stress on your body. And that stress acts like a signal, telling your cells to rebuild your bone and muscle tissue stronger than it was before. You're literally sending a message to your body to fight the aging process.
So you start on all fours and you extend your opposite arm and leg until you're in one long, straight line. But the real power of the bird dog comes from the progressions. As you get stronger, you can increase how long you hold it, you can add little pulses, or for a real challenge, try closing your eyes.
And look at these results from a Mayo Clinic study on this exact exercise. A 93% increase in core strength, 82% reduction in fall risk, 76% less lower back pain. But look at this last one, a 3.2% increase in bone density. At an age when most people are losing bone mass, this exercise can actually help you rebuild it. That is just incredible.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It means we have a totally new blueprint for fitness after 60. And it's not about spending hours walking or on a treadmill. It's about being smart, targeted, and efficient with our movements.
I mean, this chart really says it all. You can spend about 75 minutes a week on this targeted routine, which is less than half the time of a typical walking plan. And for that time, you get exponentially better results in every single category that matters for healthy aging: strength, bone density, and fall prevention. It really is about working smarter, not just harder.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What's the one thing in your daily life you want to be able to do with more strength and more confidence? Maybe it's playing on the floor with your grandkids, or working in the garden, or just carrying in all the groceries in one trip without a second thought. Because the science is clear. Using the right movements can absolutely make that your reality for years to come.